when we are uncertain about something, we're not really saying that we don't know. We're saying we don't believe. We're saying we trust more strongly that it will not happen than that it will. Welcome to The Joy Within. I'm Kyle Greenfield, and I believe that you have the ability to become calm, confident, and happy anytime that you choose. Some days, that's easier than others, but with the right tools and the right way of thinking, we can unlock incredible states of joy, peace, and well-being within us. So visit thejoywithin.org to get started today, so that together we can create a happier and more peaceful world. Hello, and welcome back to the Joy Within's podcast. Today, we're continuing our journey through the 7 hidden faces of fear. If you missed the last 2 episodes, you might want to go back and catch up after. But basically, the 7 hidden faces of fear are indecision, uncertainty, doubt, hesitation, procrastination, overwhelm, and attachment. Today, we're diving into uncertainty. Before we get started, I just want to remind you that I'm leading a small group workshop in January called Fearless 2025, where we will go deeper into specific strategies that you can use to identify and release these hidden fears within you, so you can feel more excited, more driven, and propelled towards your goals this year. You can sign up at thejoywithin.org/fearless. It's free for the Joy Within members, and if you're not a member yet, you can still sign up and get started with a free trial. So that's thejoywithin.org/fearless to sign up and save your spot. That said, let's talk about uncertainty. I think this is one of the harder of the 7 to identify as fear, because when I say uncertainty, I mean uncertainty of outcome. This uncertainty of outcome can manifest in 2 different ways. Firstly, it can be exactly what it sounds like, uncertainty about the results that you'll get from an action. But it can also mean uncertainty around how things will come to pass, if not knowing how feels negative. I will clarify this in a moment, because not knowing how something will happen can be liberating. It can be fun if it's backed by a positive belief. But when it's backed by uncertainty, that often looks like trying to micromanage or control every step along the way. So if not knowing how causes you stress, or if you feel like you have to hold on to one specific narrow path forward, that's a clue that underneath that drive to control is some form of uncertainty, which is derived from fear. The reason I think this can be difficult to associate with fear is because usually that outcome or that path, the how, is external. And our fear is always an internal struggle. And when it comes to something like indecision, which we talked about last week, that struggle is internal, and we know our fear is internal, so it's easier to bridge that gap and connect the dots. But when we don't know if things will play out favorably in the world around us, I think it can be harder to connect the dots between our uncertainty about the external and our hidden fear, which is internal. And this is also why, in the 7 faces of fear, I distinguish uncertainty from doubt, which we'll talk about next time. The primary reason uncertainty is a manifestation of fear is because it is a reflection of the trust we place in ourselves. You might also think of this in terms of trust you place in the universe, or God, or whatever term resonates with you. If that's not clear, think about it in the inverse. When we are certain, we know, we have faith, we trust in the thing about which we feel certain. So when we are uncertain, we don't. We lack that faith. We lack trust. But here's the rub. We can never actually lack trust. We can only trust in something different. So when we are uncertain about something, we're not really saying that we don't know. We're saying we don't believe. We're saying we trust more strongly that it will not happen than that it will. In other words, we believe in our fear that the thing that we want will not happen. If you're dealing with stress and negativity in your life, The Joy Within can help. Our membership program provides a clear path to reduce stress and cultivate more joy in your life by showing you how to get out of your own way. When we learn to quiet that annoying little voice in our head, we allow a natural sense of joy, peace, and well-being to shine from within. Our program activates that joy within you by combining clear insights and simple actions with personal accountability and a plan that we customize to work for you. Best of all, it's free to get started. So head over to thejoywithin.org/join to sign up today. That's thejoywithin.org/join. Now, back to the show. Try to let that sink in. See how it feels. Uncertainty is the fear that what we want won't happen. This is distinct from not knowing how something will happen, but believing that it will. Play this out for a moment if you don't believe me. Think of something that you believe in, absolutely, something you're 100% certain of. If you are certain, then not knowing how it will happen is going to feel fun. It might feel curious or interesting, more like a puzzle or a game than an actual problem that you face. Now, contrast that with what it feels like when you think of something you really want, but you don't fully believe is possible for you. Now you're more likely to want to try to control the steps along the way. Maybe you only see one very narrow path forward, or maybe you don't even see any path. So you start thinking, I must do this, I must do that. That's a lack of trust. That's the fear talking. And it feels closed off. It feels worrisome or forced. There's a completely different energy to that. Play this out in your mind. Can you feel that difference? We all go through this. I think part of what pushes us to grow and evolve is to challenge ourselves towards goals that we want to believe are possible, that we don't quite trust, not 100%. Because in that gap, we confront these hidden corners of ourselves, hidden fears that we need to release. We can only stay trapped by those fears so long as they remain unrecognized within us. We can choose to see our stretch goals as external symbols for that inner growth. And if we can see the role that uncertainty plays within that, then we can use our perceived lack of trust to point us towards the beliefs that we must change in order to close that gap, to become 100% certain of the positive outcome we desire. That's the game we play within ourselves. We can flip the uncertainty to point us towards what we need to shift, and in that way, use it to work for us rather than hold us back. So I hope today's episode has been valuable for you. I hope it has helped you to question and reframe how you usually think about uncertainty. And like I said, I'm running a small group workshop in January to help you apply these principles. You can sign up at thejoywithin.org/fearless. It's free for the Joy Within members, and if you're not a member, well, that only takes about 2 seconds to fix. thejoywithin.org/fearless. Next time, we'll take a look at doubt, which is far more personal than the uncertainty that we talked about today. Thank you so much for your time and your presence here today. Know that I love you and I appreciate you wherever you are, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to The Joy Within. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please do what you can to spread the word. I believe that we all deserve to feel calm, confident, and happy literally every single day. But with everything that's going on in the world, we need to work together to remind ourselves of that in as many little ways as we can. So please, pass this along to the people you care about. Email a friend, share it on social, do whatever feels right for you, so that hopefully, together, we can create a little more peace in our crazy modern world.